at the end. Come on. Of course. Well, if you're young and mobile, wait down there, and then when we start reading the names, take a flower and come up, okay? Because you can handle that crowd very easily. Now this is open to everyone. These were Americans who died for our freedom, so we want the public to participate. So don't block the brow. So let's go down there, and then, there's the name up there. So those of you that wish to participate in this ceremony, if I could suggest that you form a line here on the sidewalk, because that way you'll be able to come up here, take a flower off the board. There's a flower for every one of the 70 men on the Grunion who died, so you'll be able to take a flower, come up the brow. If mobility is an issue, then we have flowers up here. If you're physically challenged, you can come up on deck. But we want to commence this ceremony while we have beautiful weather. I'm sure we can credit our brothers on the Grunion, all 70 of them. My crew, if you're able, let's go form a line. Their last memory of their father was a Sunday dinner in New London, Connecticut in 1942. To avoid any painful parting, the father, Captain Mannard Abley, told his boys, "I'm going to go down to the subbase and finish some work. I'll see you boys later after Sunday supper."
Are we allowed to go on deck? Or
Yeah.
Well, the kids thought, well, Dad's coming back later, so let's go.
Grunion was sinking some ships. She sent a message to Pearl Harbor saying it have sunk several Japanese coastal frigates and engaging traffic. That was the last message that they ever transmitted. The United States Navy determined that on July 30th, 1942, she, for unknown reasons, was lost with all hands in the Aleutians. Now, in the early 2000s, somebody collecting memorabilia in Japan brought a beautiful engineering drawing of the Kano Maru, which is a Japanese cargo ship. And when they wanted to put it in a better frame, they saw on the back that there was some notations in writing. This was an engineering drawing that mentioned the captain of the Kano Maru, and they did some research and found out that Kano Maru claimed the honor of sinking an American submarine on that date. More importantly, the captain of the Kano Maru gave a longitude and latitude. So that's a rough hack that gave them the opportunity to know where to begin looking. So the four boys of Mannard Abley, one of them became a billionaire. He was friends with a gentleman by the name of Paul Allen. If you ever have that Microsoft product, Bill Gates and Paul Allen founded the company. Well, Paul Allen himself is a billionaire, had a really big ocean research ship, and he was a friend of John Abley, the son of Captain Abley. And he said, you know, if you've got longitude and latitude, you can have my ship to go find your dad's submarine. And he did. And we were very honored to help them when they came back with some side scan sonar images that they believed to be their father's submarine. We said, well, it looks promising, but it's 50 feet shorter than the Grunion. But they were encouraged enough to go back with a remote operated submarine and revisited the site, and sure enough, it's Grunion. So they found the Grunion on the first day of what they expected to be a multi-year search program. So how's that grab you? So then the task came that we now know where the grave of our father is. Let's get the other 69 families together and have a proper memorial service. Well, USS Cod was selected to be the site for all the families to come together for the first and only memorial service. So in October of 2008, we were very, very proud to host the 70 families of the Grunion. And at that point, we told them that we would make this an annual event, that we would toll the names and have a flower cast in honor of those men. And this is a joint civilian, subvet, and COD crew event, so I'm happy to see some civilians there. In a moment, I'm going to hand the microphone over to Louis Hebben, who's the commander of the COD base, United States Submarine Veterans Incorporated, for his comments. Louis? Comments? Short.
Speak up. Thank you all for being here. Some are left over from our previous picnic. Some are visitors to this wonderful boat that we get to visit. That Paul and the crew keep up in such a great manner that many of us veterans had experience keeping up a boat. And to be able to participate in the Grunion Remembrance is also a great thing, with such a wonderful story of finding a missing submarine. So thank you, Paul.
Again, it's our honor to have you all aboard. So the ceremony in 2008, there wasn't a dry eye around, and one of the things that really brought home the solemnity of the loss was a poem by Roland Gittleson. It's based on the Jewish Book of Common Prayer, and I'm going to read it. It's short, and I will have a lump in my throat after the first stanza. And then we're going to begin reading the names. A nice, slow, steady cadence, and each name as it's read off will toll the boat, the bell, and of course you'll begin taking flowers, and it's a process. Come up and toss them. All right. We remember them. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the birth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now part of us as we remember them. Thank you. So we will begin with the tolling of the 70 men of the Grunion. And where's my first reader?
Maynard Lincoln Abel. Frank Elgin Alexander. Daniel Emery Allen. Herbert Joseph Arben. Paul Edward Baines. Leo Joseph Isaiah Bedard. Wesley Hope Flintstone. Nicholas Richard Bonadise. Robert George Earl Caldwell. Richard Gary Carroll. Lee Dan Cookson. Daniel Conley. William Hugh Cockburton Jr. Lawrence Dale Beeson. Albert Edward Dessou. William Patrick Devaney Jr. Samuel Reed Guyton Jr.
Kenneth Edward Hall. Ernest Glenn Hellensmith. Hollis Buford Henderson. Charles Roy Hutchinson. Sylvester Joseph Kennedy Jr. Edward Earl Knowles Jr. Lawrence Richard Knockler. William Gregory Carhanens. Moore Julius Ledford. Woodrow Wilson Lehman. Sidney Arthur Lowe. Samuel Elijah Lunsford Jr. James Wallace Leon. Carson Raymond Martin. Thomas Edward Martin. Ryder Matheson. Richard Miller. David Oliver Myers. Frank Thomas May. Arthur C. Newcomb. James Wesley Noble. Jack Edward Hancock. Harmon Anthony Rosali. Cornelius Paul Jr. Bernard Joseph Pickle. Arnold Charles Coates. William Howard Randall. Boyle Ryan Jr. Howard Alfred Stanton. Elmer Taylor Sherman. Paul Patrick Sullivan. Stephen Serpachek. David Nathaniel Schwartz. Samuel Artis Temple. Carolyn Weaver Thomas. Byron Allen Pratt. Albert Hartman. Marshall Rubenhausen and G. Webster. Donald Francis Wells. John Harrison Wells. John Edgar Wilson Jr.
Yeah, he's my favorite name here. And now we hopefully can, someone tell me we have completely honored all the names. We're all done down there. Okay. Well, thanks to our memorial coordinator, James Kolarczyk, we have an additional lot of flowers. I know some of you may have lost relatives, friends, shipmates. We invite you up now to take a flower and cast it on the water in their memory. And at the completion of that, then we will fire a 3-gun volley to honor the men and women of the United States military. Thank you.
Something now.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Chief Torpedoman Dan Cruisenklaus. You lay below in naval language in the forward torpedo room. Look forward and you'll see Cod's 6 torpedo tubes, 3 starboard and 3 port. We leave our base with a fish, as we call them, in every tube, plus 10 reloads. Cod carries 2 types of torpedoes. A 22-foot, 3,000-pound Mark 14, which can go over 50 miles per hour for over 2 miles and deliver 650 pounds of high-explosive torpex into the hull of enemy ships. We have a cutaway Mark 14 for you to inspect on the starboard side top rack. Our Mark 14 torpedoes are good weapons, but they also leave a telltale wake enemy destroyers can follow back to attack us with depth charges. Our Mark 18 electric torpedoes don't go as fast, about 30 miles per hour, but don't leave a wake and can't be spotted by lookouts on enemy ships. We have a Mark 18 on the port side top rack for your inspection. The torpedoes are fired electrically from the conning tower, although we also hit a mechanical fire switch here at the same time in case there's any problem with the fire control system. You're probably wondering about the bunks here in the compartment. The truth is, 90% of the time, this compartment is a bedroom with the racks rigged out for sleeping. When we're at battle stations, everything is quickly stowed away and we're ready for action. Speaking of stowing away, you've noticed we don't have a lot of extra space aboard, so the green bunk bags hold crewmen's personal items, and there are small lockers on the bulkhead, but those are used by the senior rates in the compartment. We travel light here on the Cod. Torpedo men will tell you they love their work so much they don't like to leave the torpedo room. That's true, but we also need to be ready to go at a moment's notice, and the closer you are to your battle station, the better. It may seem strange, but the torpedo room is a favorite place to sleep because it's usually cooler and more quiet here than the rest of the boat. Well, it's time for my watch, but stay and look as long as you like. Good to have you aboard.
Yeah.
That's a yeoman's shack. So yeoman's like the secretary.
Perfect. Yeah, that was better.
We actually have
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I still have no idea this date. We'll just you won't tell us. I'm like, okay.
Go, dive, dive!
When they say
I'm Lieutenant Frank Kimball, Cod diving officer. And this is the control room, the compartment that contains all the controls used to dive Cod, to maintain our depth under the sea, keep it level or trim, as we say. And when it's all clear, it comes to service again. Basically, a submarine submerges by allowing seawater into ballast tanks outside the boat's pressure hull, and creating a situation called...
Is this the ship's wheel?
As high as you can go.
Amount of water coming into the tank.
So you're actually driving the
speed of the dive.
Okay.
To surface, compressed air is blown into these tanks.
Sorry, what were you asking?
No, he's answered me. I was wondering if that was the ship's wheel. He said it was up there.
Oh, this is the emergency
The
hall.
levers that let in seawater for submerging are located port, or what we call the wind.
Sorry, what?
The valve to drive compressed
you went up
air
there?
into the ballast
Oh, no,
tank,
no.
forcing the water out.
Look out.
Okay, now they're actually saying
They would man the bow of the stern
Every
planes.
each
Bow of the stern planes. They're
Sign
like wings on the right, and they keep a bunch of above. So they come down and man these. There'd be a jeep over here.
George Sacco, Cod's chief cook and baker. The photograph of the good-looking guy standing by the coffee machine? That's me. You're in Cod's after battery compartment, and just like the forward battery, it's named for the 126 cells located below. Now, it's no secret that submariners get the best food in the entire U.S. Navy, but us cooks make it the best chow. 3 settings, 3 times a day, plus that good old Navy coffee and sandwiches and snacks around the clock. Take a look at today's menu posted on the bulletin board and you'll see what I mean. Why, we even keep the oven going all night just to make sure the crew has fresh bread and rolls every day. When I have the time, I like to make pizza for the boys. A lot of them never had a pizza pie until they came aboard Cod, but they sure love it now. You might have noticed canned food in various places throughout the boat. We have to carry enough food to feed 90 men or more for 75 days at sea. So every available space is used to store our food. Plus, there's a cold food locker below where we store more than a ton of meat, fresh vegetables, and eggs. The crew mess is where the crew has their regular meals, 24 men at one time. It's also our recreation room, library, and movie theater. That's right, movies. We love them. Our favorite? Well, that one with Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, The Have and Have Not. That's a good one. And 30 Seconds Over Tokyo is pretty exciting.
And Derek, your weapons magazine was over there. Not only were you feeling very well, you were seeing high explosives. Okay.
forward that they receive the order, and now they change all the levers to make turns to make that speed. So they got two different numbers.
Glad to have you here with us in the maneuvering room. You've just seen Cod's big GM diesel engine, and as you've probably noticed by now, Cod is a very complex vessel. The best technology the Navy has here in 1944. Basically, the maneuvering room is the gas pedal of the boat. The big shiny levers you see on your left control power distribution. The gauges on the panel in front of the control levers tell us exactly what our electric output is and how fast we're going. Cooper uses the motor order telegraph to tell us how fast he wants Cod to go. How fast is Cod? On the surface, she's a real speedboat.
It wasn't a submarine, was it?
No, in Oakland it was all the simulated ones, and then they took us down somewhere to go on an actual submarine.
But that speed would quickly deplete the batteries.
Puncto.
Using battery power, the boat is actually driven by powerful electric motors located under the maneuvering room. She's an all-electric vessel, using diesel-powered batteries to generate that electricity. If you take a closer look at the photograph of the maneuvering room, you'll see that one of the electrician's mates is wearing dungarees that are full of holes. That's because the specific gravity of every one of Cod's battery cells has to be tested on every watch, and some battery acid always manages to end up on our pants. Well, I have a feeling we're going to surface soon, so things will get pretty busy here in the maneuvering room. Hope you learned a little about what makes Cod go. So long.
What, you think you're special? No, that's not Lisa.
I don't know where she went. She disappeared on us.
So
Can we launch her out of Torpedo? Two?
sure. And then you get to go out the way you came in.
Almost. Oh, you came in here?
No.
Oh, maybe you're flying on.
stern of Cod, but as far as the after torpedo room gang is concerned, it's way out in front in every way. I'm Torpedo Man Second Class Johnny Baker, welcoming you to the after torpedo room. This compartment contains 4 torpedo tubes and 8 torpedoes. Like the forward torpedo room, it's most often a bedroom with 15 bunks for the crew, and also like the forward torpedo room, it's generally cooler and more quiet here than the rest of the boat, making it a great place to sleep. But one interesting piece of equipment is the signal flare ejector, located ahead of the number 8 and 10 torpedo tubes. It works like a miniature torpedo tube and allows the crew to fire signal flares and decoys to confuse the enemy. I suppose you noticed that a lot of the crew are wearing shorts, t-shirts, and sandals. You'll see a pair of those sandals in the display case on the port side. There's a good reason the dress is casual, because as you learned earlier, it can get real hot when we're submerged for a long time. Plus, we don't have enough space to carry a lot of extra sets of uniforms for the men, and our freshwater capacity is too limited to be washing clothes all the time. It doesn't matter though. The officers and crew know who's who and what's what. Well, I'm off watch now, so I think I'll go forward and see what George has cooking on that stove of his. Good to have you on board.
Officer texted, you want to fire? And I'm like, hell yeah.